What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video, I finished up polishing the door. I got it back on the Evo. The one and only piece that I was not able to get back on there was this piece of blackout tape. I think Mitsubishi actually calls it something else here. It does say tape, but it also says door sash. I'm obviously going to be replacing the one that's missing here, but then I'm also going to be removing the front one and replacing that as well. Stay tuned. Let me remove this blue tape. I just had this here with protecting the weather stripping. I can't put the weather stripping in here right now because it covers up where that blackout tape is supposed to go. Just keeps any bugs from getting up in there. I actually already bought one of these pieces. I actually already attempted to put it on here, but when I did, I ended up making the biggest rookie mistake ever. I dropped the entire piece on the ground. Sticky side hit the ground. It got all kinds of dirt and debris on the bottom of it, so I just trashed it. I've never done these little pillars before, but I have worked with vinyl and soap and things like that, so I'm not a newbie to it. However, I am definitely not an expert either. These pieces right here are not cheap. They're fairly expensive compared to just buying a roll of vinyl wrap, but I did want to go ahead and just stick with OEM if I could. I'll work on getting this one over here on first, and then after that, we'll work on getting this one removed and getting that one on. Rear door is all finished up, much easier this time around. I don't know why I had so many issues the first time around and then ended up dropping it. When you're going to line it up, use the outside edge here where it's going over those holes. Take that edge all the way to where it lines up with the other door here, and you know you're good. And there, it's just lining up the top up here and then lining up the bottom. Keep in mind the bottom is going to be hidden, so lining up the top I think is more crucial. If you are doing this yourself and you're having to remove the old one, this is the process. You'll have to roll down the window, you'll have to remove this part of the guide just all the way to this point like you can see I have here. Once I get this back in here, it'll lay over the side of that. I have to remove this weather seal right here on the outside. It's just one bolt holding it in from the inside there, and there you just kind of have to pull up and pull out and it'll eventually just pop up out of there. Super excited to have this done though. I'm going to go ahead and get everything put back together on this door, and then I will start working on getting this door apart and take this old piece off. Rear door is all put back together. Everything came out looking amazing. I got everything taken off of the front door. It's exactly the same like the rear. You've got a screw that goes in through this little hole right here, fits into the back, and that's what holds this little weather stripping piece on. Make sure you roll the window down. And the best way that I have figured out how to get this window guide out of there is I always grab from the corner. There's a little bit more meat to hold on to. You really got to tug on it, kind of move it in different directions, and eventually it'll pull out of there. If you try to pull it from one of these sides or over here, right over here, it's a little bit more difficult. Obviously, Obviously, I just replaced the one on the rear. I repainted this door. I took this off so that I didn't have an edge. Front door I repainted also, but I didn't have to paint the top of it, and the bottom of it is actually covered up down here. Instead of taking all of this off and painting everything, I just went ahead and put a line, and then once this little weather stripping goes over it, you don't ever see it. This works out kind of well in my favor because I'll be able to line it up really easily with this. I did want to share one thing with you. If you see really closely here, there's a little bit of this yellow adhesive that's left on there, and you remove any kind of vinyl, a lot of times it will leave a little bit of that residue. Getting it off is really easy. You just use some alcohol or Prep-All, any kind of degreaser. Getting the old vinyl off, fairly easy. All you have to do is just keep heating it up. It takes a while. You just have to keep peeling it back. This should be the home stretch though. I'm going to get the rest of this residue, get all that glue cleaned up, and then we'll get the new piece of tape on here. Front door is all finished up. Everything is put back together. As you can see, everything went on absolutely great. Everything looks absolutely great. Everything lines up perfect. Just did 2 of these. This is only my second time ever even attempting this. First time I never even got to attempt it because, like I said, I dropped it on the ground. If you don't drop it on the ground, you can definitely do this yourself. It's not hard to do. Some tips and tricks that I can leave from one newbie to another is that 1, don't use too much soap, but definitely use enough. If you don't use enough, it's going to stick. It's not going to move for you at all. If you use too much, when you finally get it in place and you try to squeegee that soap out of there, that piece of tape is going to move on you. I did the front door a little bit differently than I did the rear. The rear was much easier to line up because I just used the gap right here. You saw what I did on the front. I didn't want that vinyl laying over on this rubber. I didn't want it constantly sticking on that while I was trying to get it on there. So I laid a piece of tape across the top. I just got everything lined out. That way I could open the door and just work on it from there. Once I got it lined up at the top how I liked it, I got it lined up at the bottom, and then I just kind of looked around on the sides and made sure everything looked good. Once you get the top and the bottom lined up, everything else just kind of falls into place. These little squeegees you get online are actually really nice. They come with these little felt toppers, and the one thing that's good about that is when you start to squeegee that soap up out of there, it'll actually catch it at the top. That way it's not all running back down. The other thing that I did find kind of difficult is actually getting the sides to fold over. The best thing to do for these edges is just to press down really good on the actual edge itself. If it starts to wrinkle up on the sides as you're folding it over, your best friend is going to be a heat gun. This will help to soften that vinyl up, and it will help it to lay flat. Aside from that, the only other tip and trick that I can actually point out is going to be not the sticker itself, but on the door. This window guide that acts as a seal also. Kept having trouble on both doors getting it up in there, getting it to fit all the way. The outside here, you can see it just barely lips over. If you do the side over here first and try to go all the way around, you may run into trouble up here at the top not getting it to fit. It's usually because as you're pushing this in over here, it sometimes pushes it down and then you don't have enough. Easiest thing to do is just go ahead and actually pull a little bit extra up. That way you've got a little bit of extra on this side. go ahead and start from the top or as far over as you can, work your way back this way, and then once you get to this side, you can just kind of start pushing the excess down. That's it though, both doors are good to go. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, if you learned something, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see anything else going on with the Evo, and I will catch you guys next time.